So I want to thank Catherine for coordinating this meeting to follow up on the CosMODA New York Fashion Week and what we're going to do on the trailer. And I've got Dan, the co-founder of CosMODA, and the guy who starred in the recent cosplay short documentary, which I submitted, which we'll talk about the Cairns event. So my wife, Andrea, when she's listening in as well, but she's off camera, but she's listening in.
Hi,
So,
Andrea. Happy New
so
Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
anyway, so Catherine, since you asked for this thing,
Yep.
why don't you tell us what you want for
hmm
the adaptation
Right.
revision on the cosplay runway
hmm
documentary, and then I'll tell you what the latest news on that is, how
Right.
we can change it, and how we can adapt, and more importantly, what how we can promote it and Cannes as well in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Dan and I were talking. Thank you, Dr. Ying, for that referral and introduction. And we were talking last week about how we were going to add some things to it, because it's not really a reflection of what we did or do, and we have tons of footage. And I think having an origin story about CosMODA is as important, as what we're doing currently. So we have lots of footage from. We started in 2020, so we have footage that we can add into it. Plus, making more documentary footage from what we're going to be doing going forward. But I think that it's. We have to document all this stuff, and if you want to do a really true reflection of what we've been able to accomplish, I think that's one of the things that we need to add, into the mix. So do you agree, Dan?
I mean, again, first off, I'm sorry, guys. I have to apologize. You've all been good and very diligent in trying to communicate with me,
Well,
and
you've been sick.
I've been sick. I've actually been sick, and so hopefully I'm back on track now. So I
Yep.
should be available to kind of
Well,
come
it's
up
good to
for.
see you, Dan, and
No, it's been a rough.
wish you a speedy
It's good to be
recovery.
seen,
I mean,
right, Dan?
well, it is. It really is. And the truth is, that I don't know. It's funny. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I was already fading
Yeah.
during in September. That I
Yeah.
came home almost immediately and wound up being in the hospital for a couple days, and then it was just sort of a slog. Just had surgery. I guess it's now about 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and so I'm back. Hopefully, that's going to solve the problem. We'll see. I'm having
Did you get your
problems.
blood levels done? Your
I don't know.
blood?
I'm still waiting. I actually
Okay.
have to. It's the holidays. I guess I had reached out. I'm feeling a little wonky, to be honest. I sort of this weekend. Catherine knows I was wandering around pageant land this weekend, and I don't know. I just feel a little out. So I did actually reach out to my doctor, who I guess is trying to recover from the holidays, has not gotten back to me, but hopefully everything's all right. And by the way, if it isn't, we're going to keep going anyway. There's nothing else to be done
I
here.
hear it's
Well, what else
super.
is there to do, right? But I was really out of it. So I apologize for that. That said, I'm aware, so you'll forgive me because I'm aware that you've been communicating with me and I've only been really half paying attention. So one of the things that I've asked for Catherine, I know you sent me a copy of this thing, but I actually haven't seen it yet. If somebody could send it to me again,
I
so
sent
I
it to
can.
you yesterday,
Oh,
Dan.
did you? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. I'm still a little out. I'm still a little out, but I will take a look. And see what's going on. But yes, in general, the main thing is that we do, as she says, we have tremendous amounts of footage. So there's if it's needed and we want to expand this thing, we surely have have a lot of footage. And if I know what it is that we're trying to accomplish, I can locate it, and therefore we don't have to go through. I mean, we have hours and hours of footage. As Catherine says, we've largely recorded everything we've ever done, so we've got and some of it's better or worse, but a lot of it's pretty decent. And we also, of course, have tons of photography and that kind of stuff. So it really depends on where we want to go next with the project. Clearly, at some interval, we're going to want to probably get back out there and record new stuff. And in that respect, if we similarly, if we know what it is that we're trying to accomplish, then we can direct ourselves accordingly. We're pretty good at that. So, if we
All
know
right.
what it is that we're trying to
And
capture, we can capture it.
Terrence is in that, Dan. Terrence Coffey
Yes,
from
no, I know
Comic
he
Books
is.
Justice, but
All
he
right.
wasn't there for the last 5 times we've done it, so
No,
he's a rather
totally.
new addition. So,
Sure. And I
Yeah.
but
again, and
it's a
by the way,
really
if that's what
important part.
well, it is, except that if that's what it is, then that becomes a very different. I'm sorry, this freaking headset. I don't
Yeah.
know why. They keep designing these things differently.
Yeah. I know. It's
They did it. It doesn't stay in my ear.
all right.
For the life of me, it
Yeah.
doesn't stay in my
But
ear.
Dan, yeah, Dan, you hit it on the nail. Okay. Why are we doing this? So let me answer it. And
Yeah.
then, so the original, obviously, I want to thank Catherine for inviting me and my wife to New York Fashion Week. So I thought that's a good opportunity just to capture the historic moment. Because to be honest, obviously, I've been to a New York Fashion Week before, but I've never been to one with this uniqueness, the cosplay between the comic book and things. I've been to the more traditional fashion, week where it's all about glamour, but this is this is more, so I thought it'd be just a good for me at that point. I didn't really have anything inside. I thought it'd be a good time just to capture a
Mhm.
history. And then after the interview, I thought, listen, there's so much great content here that the world needs to hear about. It's not just another fashion show, or not just another Comic Con event. This is unique, and not just uniqueness, but what you're doing it. You're doing it for great causes. I mean, you're not just Terence Coffey promotion there. Comic book for justice, but all the fact that you're bringing children in to say those are the things that are very synergetic to what our collective is doing. So I felt the urge, the need to publicize this. So that was my selfish desire to use this
Yeah, that
amazing
was good.
platform to tell the world what we are doing collectively. So because time was short, I decided to because my wife at that time was working on another movie project. I decided to do a very short 10-minute, which I'll send you the link with this recording as well, so you watch it. Just a short 10-minute uh, documentary short. So, as you know, editing takes a lot of time and effort. So I did a 10-minute short, which I was proud of what my capability. And then I decided to submit it to various film festivals because my goal is to get that message out there. My goal is not to make it and then put it under my bed collecting dust. That's just a waste of time and energy, right? And thankfully, touch wood, because of my various connection, the film got accepted by Cannes World Film Festival, uh, and they have a gala event in June. Me and my wife received an award 2 years ago at the event. At that time, during the gala event, they had a Star Wars exhibition, so a full Star Wars exhibition. And again, I'll send you that link that you can see of that 2 years ago when we went to Star Wars. And so my brain just put two and two together, like, okay, well, if they're going to screen this cosplay documentary short, then why don't I get them to exhibit your cosplay Komodo in France, right? In Cannes. Now, now Cannes is the world's most famous film festival
Yeah.
region in the world, right? So, so when you talk about New York, everyone knows about Wall Street, everyone knows about Empire State Building. When you talk about, California, everyone knows about Hollywood. But when the moment you mention the word Cannes, everyone knows it's about media, the glamour, film, right?
The
That's
film
what it's
festival, yeah.
associated with. So, so to have that association and to be able to showcase not just the movie, but your artwork, your cosplay in France, which is, one of the major fashion area of the world with Milan and London and Paris and London. So to showcase that, we could do a huge publicity exposure. And that's why I spoke to Caroline Bomba. She is the head and organizer of the Cannes World Film Festival, and she seems very receptive to that. Uh, so, but again, I haven't set up the Zoom there because obviously, I've only discussed it partially, but that's a great idea. Then that's something that I would feel it would be a great enterprise. Is not only showcasing the cosplay runway movie which I submitted, but also having you guys do a full exhibition, a full cosplay runway
Mhm.
show with them. To me, it would be a win-win for them. So, but like I said, June's not that far away now, right? It's
Yeah.
only like
No,
6 months. You're gonna. It takes a lot of time and
sure.
effort. Do you use model? You fly a model? Do you use their
Well, that's
model?
the
Do you,
thing.
et cetera, et cetera?
I mean,
But
yeah, that
yeah,
would be
but
the
anyway,
logistical element.
before
Yeah.
that, so that was the original my intention, original, like you
Right.
said. Why are you doing it for, right?
Hmm.
Now, my interview is I submitted just a 10-minute uh, documentary short. But if we're going to scale it to this dramatic, listen, cosplay runway, CosMODA is going to be hitting Cannes. It's going to be the biggest mega show in the whole blah, 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 the promote market. Then I think we really want to go big. So in that case, I would then speak to Caroline about resubmitting the cosplay runway from a short to at least a partially full documentary, at least 30 minutes, 40,
Mhm.
ideally an hour.
Mhm.
So they will do a full premiere screening of the whole film, and that will be associated with your cosplay runway exhibition and show that you have in Cannes. So that again, that's a lot of time, a lot of effort. So to your original question, I would like to have all your available footage historically. So to me, there's not enough time to shoot more scenes, maybe in February, but it sounds like you got so much content that it's going to take us so
Yeah.
many time just to digest, watch
Right.
through all the thing and re-edit it. And like I said, with it, if this was June next year, then fine, we have time. But this is June this year, and we're not going to have much time. So if you can get all the available footage, hopefully in digital form, and we don't have to convert it from thing. And now there's probably a lot of memory, so we either use WeTransfer, a Google Drive, or you can just put it
Right.
on a storage. Easiest thing is put it on a storage drive. Just hand that storage drive to
Unfortunately,
me. Yeah.
well, unfortunately, which I've now said, so I'm not going to say it 50 times. I've just been out of the picture for it's been
Yeah. Understand.
several weeks. I've
Yeah.
just been
Of course.
out of it. So I now have to play catch up on a variety of fronts. And one of them is that we have a Dropbox where all of this stuff should be residing, but
Perfect.
I'm a little concerned that it's maybe not where it should be. So I have to dig it out and find it. But for sure, everything's digital. If it's not on the
Perfect.
Dropbox, it can be put back on the Dropbox. I have it on thumb drives, and I have some hard drives. So it's in that respect. I mean, again, if it takes us a couple days to get it all coordinated, that's fine.
Okay.
But there should be no transferring in that respect. And then Catherine's pretty good, and I'm pretty good, but I have a really good memory for these things. So if once we have that stuff up, like I said, you don't have to watch 50 hours of footage. If you're telling me where we're going, we can conspire together, and I can say, oh, there was
Perfect.
that moment. This is
Yeah.
where that is. That'll be in June. I'll know where to find it. So, and should be able to do
Perfect.
that, access
Perfect.
that
So,
pretty
so
well.
all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include in this when I send you this recording, I'm going to include Caroline Bomber. Like that, she's the organizer of Cannes, so
Okay.
she's in the loop, and I'm going to talk to her about expanding on the
Right.
original cosplay short which I submitted, which was accepted 10 minutes, and say to her, I want to work on a longer version with new footages, which I'm working with you.
Right.
And
Now,
probably it could be
that
something about the
original,
origin of it.
yeah,
You know,
that original short, as you know, for friendship, I just listed four other producers. But this full documentary is going to be a full professional version. I'm only going to
Right.
have the four of us. That includes Andrea as the co-producers of this cosplay. So I'm going to drop
Right.
Sarah, Sunny, Dwayne, and whoever else. And they didn't contribute anything. I just put in them because, like I said, they were
Yeah,
at the
because it was
event,
nice.
blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
No, I
Yeah,
agree.
I just been trying to be nice.
Sure.
So, but for this year, there'll be just the four of us will be the primary
Okay.
producer of this documentary film.
All right.
Okay. So So all right,
In
so
terms
that's
of
that. I'll include Caroline. I'll
okay,
I'll I'll ask her to see if she's receptive to that. If she's not, then we don't need to go any further.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we
The
just have
thing
to
is
run with the
he
existing 10-minute version that we submitted. But if
right,
she's receptive to that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a follow-up Zoom with her that we can talk to her about
right.
the new master plan moving forward. And then you can talk to her about the logistics, about whether it is practical or not to have cosplay runway exhibit and showcase in
Well,
Cairns
this
for
is
this June.
Yeah.
now you're
Yeah.
getting to it because there's a I mean obviously it's not home field for us at all. So as it is, I travel and can do and whatever, but just even just the two of us is expenses and whatever. And once we get into everybody else, that you're talking about multiple people with lots of bags and huge amounts of
Costumes.
stuff.
Yeah.
My gut Cat, is that what we should do if we can do and we have the time now is to just do our normal shtick in France and
Hmm.
see if we can get European cosplayers to
Hmm.
come, not
Hmm.
ship our own people. I
Right.
have wanted for quite some time, but we don't have the footage for it, unfortunately. Maybe it might be a good time to revisit Cutie Pie Sensei
Hmm.
because she's a pro and has a pro, and that would be one high end person to bring and
Or
just
Yaya Han, maybe Yaya.
the only problem with her is she would come in a nanosecond, and so would what's his face with that Galactus and all. The
Yeah.
problem with those guys are that we've never really had them before,
Right.
and so to bring them through, I mean, we could, but to bring them through as as for this, where
Hmm.
there's footage of our people, and seems a little wonky. It's not the right moment, I think, maybe, though there's no question that if we called these people and said, listen, we're going to be at con, can you
Yeah.
get your shit together and come. I
Yeah.
would think
Think
certainly
they would.
Yaya would come, and the fellow whose name is escaping me, but you know who I'm talking about with the big machines that the big robot stuff. His problem is that he's sort of been there, done that, and really, and this is logistically something we've talked about. God help us, Europe, is that his rig is huge. That
Yeah.
just traveling with three costumes of his, you're talking about shipping containers now. You're not
Yeah.
even talking.
Yeah.
You're talking about big ass stuff. It's not like you could. I mean, as it is, I was thinking maybe we get Levi to come with Mojo.
Hmm.
Because that's a showstopper, and
Yeah. That
obviously
won the special
no. And then
effects.
Mark, clearly we need to. If
Yeah.
we're bringing our people, we have to.
Yeah. And those two
We
definitely.
have to gloss those guys. And by the way, Doctor Doom is a winner or whatever. But even those are suitcases and
Yeah.
suitcases we would
Yeah.
probably want to ship. So that becomes a question of budget.
Hmm.
And a budget, by the way, that we don't probably have to throw
Yeah,
it throw at something like
understand.
this.
Well, this
So
is
yeah.
yeah.
Now, can we raise it?
Okay.
I'm supposed to go down and talk to some people, maybe some
Yeah,
sponsors, some other people, and we can
yeah,
see, we've done okay, but it wouldn't be the worst opportunity maybe for us. I, selling a sponsor that we really want on the Cannes Film Festival is an
yeah.
easier hit
Right.
than
Oh
just
yeah,
us so that
yeah,
so that maybe there's a larger picture. And in fact, I have a
Yeah.
couple of ideas about that. We also, by the way, are involved with and she was there. I don't know if you actually met her, but the QBN network, the Queen Beauty Network, which is a pageant driven platform where they aired Miss USA, they air Miss Universe, they air major pageant stuff. And so that's they live stream it, and they have some programming of their own, and we're actually pretty tightly involved with them and that. So there is certainly outlets for us to promote this thing. Maybe once it's been aired at Con, we could air it there too. That kind of thing, which I think would be helpful. And then on top of all of that, like I said, that's just a whole nother entity, and they've got their own apparatus for filming and for doing and for all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
there's a world, and they would be interested, I guarantee.
yeah, and and she was talking about doing cosplay as one of the categories for the pageants. So
Correct.
maybe those
Costuming.
models could then, yeah, do a costume that they, like they do a gown, they get a costume made between now and June that's spectacular. spectacular and is really a combination of fashion and comics the way we do it. So
I
that
like
might
that
be,
idea, as a matter of
yeah,
fact,
me
because
too.
the other thing is then QBN can maybe take up
Exactly.
exactly right,
Yeah.
take up some of that load and
Yeah.
bring some people. She's got
Yeah.
they have
They
I
have
mean it's
sponsors.
100%, but also she really wanted to, and I've already sort of spoke to her a little bit about this. She really wants to have, her queens at major world
Yep.
events like this.
Yep.
So that would be something that maybe makes some sense. And we don't need a huge amount of them.
Nope.
If we have two or three showstoppers,
The exhibition. Yep.
exactly, two or three showstoppers, and then maybe if we can get our boat in the water, we've got enough time to do that. Is we absolutely could do our normal cosplay runway, which is I'll dig around. We'll find the European cosplayers.
Yep.
There's guaranteed there's a whole there's 50 to 100 kids that live within 50 miles of that place that have
Yep.
costumes of their own. They won't all be showstoppers, but we can certainly do our normal shtick. And that we can do relatively inexpensively and easy, especially if they're giving us some space and working on them. So
Or
there's a
maybe
lot of
ask
good.
the world of wearable art, the WoW people, the world of wearable art,
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea
because
of
they're
expanding.
European.
My only wrinkle with any of that, and everybody here should please comment, is I taking on new people that have new things. As I want to do that, of course, in the big picture, but if we're doing an exhibition of what's being shown, I feel a little bit hesitant to have 10 different people that, although maybe that's silly of me. Maybe we should, because there's no question, and this is something that Catherine and I have been talking about for a long
Yeah,
time.
this is
Is
big.
we have a
It's
game
worth
we
the
have a
effort.
game plan for an
All right.
expanded programming, a traveling
Okay.
show,
All right.
So this
and
is
have a
good.
All right. So
Rolodex to
let
deal
me
with it.
so let me inject it. So the first thing I need to do, of course, is to ensure that Caroline wants
Right.
this done,
Yeah.
because like I say, she may already have a program or set up for June already. So we may be jumping. That's why I want to get her. So I've
Yeah.
been keeping her in the loop, but I'm not pushed the button yet with her saying we must do it. She sounded receptive, but I wanted to make sure that she speaks to you and see whether realistically it is. So that's the first thing we got to get her
Yep.
total
Yep. Yep.
buy-in. So that's
Yep.
the next step is I'll include her in there and I'll set up a Zoom with her so we can talk about whether, first of all, we can expand the short longer. Secondly, whether they want to have a cosplay runway as part of the exhibition,
Right.
or they already have a team exhibition that they're working for this year. So maybe it'll be next year that that do it. But she said, yeah, she wants to do it for this year. Then my suggestion is you keep this refined, because remember, this is a film festival, so the focus is on the film. So we keep the exhibition cosplay to a the top quality. So 2, 3 eye stoppers that will make you
Mm-hmm.
go,
Mm-hmm.
wow, right?
Yep.
We don't try to say, let's try and get 10, 20, 30, 50 people from your,
No.
no. Our focus is to make this like
Presentation.
we
Yeah.
are we're bringing the greatest stars, the celebrity, just like when we went there in 2024 with the Star Wars exhibition. You had all the big, wow, you had Darth Vader, you had R2D2, you had the main showstopper type thing that people, oh yeah, I'd reckon, oh, I want my picture taken next to Darth Vader, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So my suggestion is that you keep it, the exhibition and show, short, brief, but a wow factor that you want to make people will say, I want more of this. I want more of this, right? Rather than try and cram too much in, like
Yep.
bring it in and people say, oh, okay, I'm bored already. I want to go and
Little
watch a movie.
diluted.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, that would be that would
Yeah.
fail what we're trying to do.
That
We're trying
dilutes
to
it.
bring glamour in. We're trying to be
Mm-hmm.
dynamism in. So I'd rather have an explosive exhibition with 2 or 3 eye-popping wow factor that people that the press will write. This is absolutely amazing. We should do this every year. Blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
that would be my recommend. But the first step is to get Caroline fully on board.
Okay.
I believe she is, but it's all about the timing. June, as I
Yes.
said, is literally around the corner. And you guys
Yep.
organize events, you know this. You don't need me to tell
Yep.
you. It's literally
Yep.
around the corner. And for us to logistically move it out, and obviously keeping the thing to a few wow factor may actually be more cost effective, less
Yeah.
logistic
Mm-hmm.
transportation. the people
Yep.
that are the top right, chances are they'll probably sponsor their own exhibition, right? Oh, I get to show this in Cannes. Oh my God, like
Yeah.
maybe they'll sponsor. I think
And don't
they'll
hold your
pay for their
breath.
own. Yeah,
Don't hold your breath on that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Well,
These
again, but it's name
opportunities are very
association.
generic for
Yeah, I
people,
know,
and
but
I think we can
yeah,
get. I think what you're saying makes perfect sense, and I'm on board with
yeah,
you, and we'll see. So I don't want to get into the weeds with it,
yeah,
but actually, when you get involved with really the top people, it's like everything else.
yeah,
This is just another place for them, and
yeah,
they're gonna expect us. In the very least, they're gonna expect us to figure out how to get them paid to come, and that becomes the
yeah,
concern. But we'll straighten it out. I know exactly what
yeah.
to do here.
And
So
if we
Okay,
we're in
get
good shape.
great.
people over
Yeah,
there
this
that
isn't our first
live there,
rodeo either. Yeah,
if people
All
live
exactly.
right.
there,
No,
that's
no,
Correct.
you
bad.
guys are
That's where we
experienced,
get
so
into.
yeah,
Like Catherine just said it. That's exactly right. Is we locate the people
yeah,
that make sense that are nearby, so that
yeah,
so that they can get in their car and drive there,
yeah,
whatever, or rent a truck and bring it. Because
yeah.
once you're shipping, I mean, some of the, and we have them. But again, no big deal. I agree with that. The second thing is I'll start to coordinate. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it's not 100%, but I'd be very unhappy if that Dropbox is missing somehow. So I
Yeah,
assume it's up and running, at which point you can have access to it immediately. And then I'm
perfect.
always available to sit and talk and coordinate. Like I said, I have a pretty clear understanding of where things are and
Beautiful.
what's going on. So if you
Well,
tell me what it is you want to see, I'll find it.
all right.
Awesome.
So Dan, you find the old footage for me, send that over to me. I'll coordinate with Caroline to set up a Zoom with her to see whether it's practical for us to get involved fully with the CosMODA event for
Yep.
June in Cannes. I say if she gives the green light, then we can, let's say I'll let you arrange it and
Yeah,
coordinate
well,
that up front
Yep.
with her. Okay.
Awesome.
Now
sounds like
Yep.
a plan.
on a separate as you know, Caroline, Catherine, sorry, Jessica's been doing a lot of activities on the Grand Festival. So, touch
Yep.
wood, it seems closer and closer
Yeah.
by the day. And that's something that we mentioned about incorporating a fashion show into
Hmm.
the Grand Festival with all the
Yep.
big celebrity things. So maybe, we can incorporate this cosplay, the
Yep.
Cosmodo, as our fashion entity. I don't know where Dan's aware of the Grand Festival
This is
idea
Monaco we're talking
Yeah.
or
It's
about?
not.
Monica.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Monaco, but it's expanding beyond Monaco. Again, this is confidential, but there's an entity that state that they may actually finance this for 10 years around the world. So this could be huge. So it's not just Monaco, it could be a world
Right.
tour. And then if that's a world tour, then obviously Cosmodo will be our fashion portion of that show that will travel
Hmm.
around the world with us, and then at that time, we don't need to bang on anyone's door. Everyone will be banging on our door to be let
Right.
in.
Mm,
The
Okay,
tables
seriously,
returned.
right?
Yeah.
Seriously, they'll be banging on our door to
right.
be let in. It's
Yeah.
that simple. Okay.
That's
But
what you
anyway,
want.
I
I'm
think
going
this
to
has
see
been a
her
very
later at
productive.
7:30. I'm going to see Jessica at 7:30 tonight because we may want to do the opening party for Fashion Week at John's Hotel. So I'm going
Right.
to meet
Okay.
him down
All right.
there.
Yeah. Keep everything I say confidential.
I
Jessica
will.
tends to be very private, so
Yep.
don't
I will.
mention that I relayed any disinformation. She wants.
Nope.
She wants everything
Got it.
hush
All
hush
right.
at this
Absolutely.
time.
Yep.
So anyway, okay. So this has
All right.
been
I'll be looking for
fabulous,
the
Nick. So I'm going to
emails.
send you this recording with
Great.
Caroline included. I'm going to set up a Zoom with her to see whether we can do it in Cannes in June this year or not. And if we can, then there's all foot on the gas pedal. Okay.
Yep.
All
So,
right.
Dan, it's good seeing you again.
Thanks a
Get
lot.
Anytime.
well,
Appreciate you.
recover.
All right. I'll be
Much
looking for
peace
everything.
and love to you.
You
Bye,
got
And
it.
Dr.
Christ our
Ying. Bye,
blessing.
Andrea.
Take
Take it
care.
easy.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.